Ancient history of the Tao Empire. The Imperium's first encounter with the Tao occurred long before the people of Tau Prime had gazed up to the stars with any understanding of the greater galaxy. In fact, the story of the Tao is strikingly similar to that of humanity, at least before humanity spiraled into endless conflict and self-destruction. In the beginning, the Tao were a fierce, warlike species, short-lived and locked in brutal tribal conflict. For centuries, the various Tao tribes waged bloody wars against one another. This brutal period was known as the Montao, or the Terror, a time of endless strife. Yet as the Tao entered their age of black powder, their weapons grew deadlier and whispers of strange sightings began to spread. Figures half-glimpsed in the mountains, strange lights flickering in the night sky. And then the Ethereals arrived. With them came something far more powerful than just new leadership. They brought the promise of destiny. The Ethereals quickly brokered peace among the warring tribes, and the rapid spread of union and solidarity transformed Tau society. The very same factions that once tore each other apart now stood united under a common cause, a cause that had been preached by the Ethereals for generations, the greater good. Even in those ancient days, when the Tau was still a primitive people, the seeds of this philosophy were planted. One might wonder how a species so isolated from the galaxy at large could have adopted a creed that would one day shape an empire spanning the stars. From that pivotal moment, the Tau tribes began their transformation into the unified caste system that would shape the foundations of a new empire. Each caste took its place, aligned to its strengths and contributions, driving the rapid expansion of Tau civilization. Technological innovation surged, and the Tau military became a formidable force. Their cities grew into gleaming centers of progress, testaments to the unity achieved through the greater good. Nature itself was bent to the will of their engineers and scientists, taming once hostile elements. At the helm, the Ethereals took their place as unquestioned leaders, guiding the empire with a vision that resonated across every caste. The Earth caste emerged as the builders, miners, and architects, their ingenuity giving rise to the technology and infrastructure that fueled the empire's growth. The Air caste continued their ancestral role as scouts and messengers, and as Tau society spread across planets, they became the pilots and navigators of an expanding interstellar navy. The Water caste formed from those tribes adept in diplomacy and trade, adapting their skills to maintain harmony and negotiations within and beyond the empire. And last to join the greater good were the warrior tribes from the steppes, who became the Fire caste. Bound by the code of fire, they adopted a disciplined martial philosophy that remained central to their identity. Thus, each caste played its role, fulfilling the Ethereals' vision and propelling the Tau on their journey from a scattered people to an empire united under the greater good. By galactic standards, the Tau Empire has expanded at a speed that few species could match, a rising power that stands as both a marvel and a mystery to the wider galaxy. Like many empires, the stability of the Tau Empire depends heavily on constant expansion. Yet, unlike other powers, the Tau wage war across the galaxy with an almost paradoxical sense of compassion, sincerely believing that all beings would benefit from the greater good. Driven by this conviction, they strive to bring other species into their fold, sometimes with tragic naivety. Water caste diplomats, acting as emissaries of peace, have met grisly fates at the hands of hostile species, from becoming test subjects of the Drukhari to being used as an orc piñata. As the Tau extended their reach beyond their home world, they established new territories called septs. Each sept is named after the capital planet of a colonized system, and over time, each has developed unique characteristics, shaped as much by distance as by design. Vast stretches of space separate these septs, fostering distinct identities within the empire. This isolation is exacerbated by the Tau Empire's limited capacity for interstellar travel, which lags significantly behind their other technologies and remains a major barrier in their otherwise remarkable expansion. The Tau's expansion into the stars begins with the first adventure into the void, drones dispatched to explore the vast unknown. These probes streak through space, scanning for signs of life and signals emitted by sentient species on distant worlds. When a suitable planet is discovered, whether by habitability or signs of life, the drones transmit their findings back to the Empire. Soon after, the air caste dispatches colonizing fleets to follow up on these discoveries. Upon encountering a new alien species, the Tau adhere to a rigorous series of protocols. First contact is always initiated by the water caste, who send a delegation of diplomats trained in the arts of persuasion and peace. Silver-tongued and expertly conciliatory, these ambassadors approach new civilizations with patience and respect, qualities that come as naturally to them as bludgeoning does to an orc. Water caste diplomats have trained for lifetimes to master the art of negotiation, and they are willing to spend generations in dialogue if it means peacefully welcoming a species into the greater good. This patience has yielded remarkable successes, such as the induction of the insectoid Vespid into the Empire. However, if the water caste's advances are rebuffed or the indigenous species proves openly hostile, the Tau respond with calculated force. The fire caste is deployed, executing meticulously planned assaults with rapid precision and overwhelming firepower. When the fire caste fights, they do so not out of cruelty, but to demonstrate the strength of those united under the greater good. Even in conquest, the Tau are not ruthless. They seek to preserve as much of a civilization's culture and people as possible, aiming for forced compliance rather than total annihilation. With the opening of the Great Rift, the Tau have found more worlds than ever, isolated and under siege. Undeterred, they push forward with renewed determination, bringing the light of the greater good to these lost and besieged planets, determined to extend their empire's unity to all who will accept it. Part 2 of this series will explore the Tau Empire's spheres of expansion and their history beyond their homeworld. So join us next time as we journey through the Tau Empire's bold expansion beyond their home planet and uncover the epic history that shaped their path among the stars.